Hi, I'm Katerina. You're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So bad news for Canelo Alvarez. According to Eddie Hearn, negotiations are not going well when it comes to the Caleb Plant fight. But I don't think that really surprises any of us because Caleb Plant, he never really showed any extreme eagerness to get a Canelo Alvarez fight. Matter of fact, when you think about it, it's funny. The majority of opponents that Canelo Alvarez fights, they never really pursued a Canelo Alvarez fight. I mean, sure, if a reporter asked them about Canelo, and then they would say something like, I'd be willing to take that fight. I mean, a lot of these guys, I think they're surprised when they even get the phone call. Their manager calls them up, guess what? Canelo wants to fight you. Damn, he does? Okay, well, sign me up. It'll be a good payday. But it's so crazy because on the flip side, the majority of fighters who have been aggressively calling out Canelo and showing interest happens to be the guys that Canelo doesn't want to fight. I mean, how backwards is that? So once again, Canelo Alvarez, he may not get the Caleb Plant fight. So he has two options, at least according to what his trainer just recently said. I reported it. His trainer said that, if the Caleb Plant fight doesn't happen, or even if it does happen and they beat him, he mentioned 3 opponents that he likes for Canelo next. And it was Errol Spence, if he were to move all the way up to a catch weight of 164. Then it was David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo. I noticed he didn't mention Arthur Beterbiev's name because Eddie Hearn, he said that Canelo Alvarez told him that's who he wants next, Arthur Beterbiev at 175. So I was surprised the trainer, he didn't mention his name. Assuming Canelo doesn't get the Plant fight, I would be surprised if his next opponent is not one of those 4 guys that I just mentioned. It would make no sense at all for him to fight anyone else. Well, I almost forgot to mention Demetrius Andrade, which is obviously another viable option. Canelo Alvarez, he put him on his horrible fighters list. The question is, how many other fighters is Canelo going to put on that horrible fighters list? Which we know what the translation is when it comes to that list, don't we? We know what time it is. Avni Yildirim didn't make the list, but Demetrius Andrade happens to be all the way at the top of the list. Okay, Canelo. So clearly Caleb Plant wasn't joking when he was demanding $10 million to fight Canelo Alvarez. I don't know if Eddie Hearn thought he was joking and figured once he sat down and talked to Caleb Plant, he was going to change his mind some kind of way. So far, all of these fighters that Canelo Alvarez has been going after at 168, they have all been getting in the ring to get a payday, right? And Canelo Alvarez didn't only give them a payday, but when they asked Canelo for more money, Canelo gave it to him. This happened in the Caleb Smith fight, the BJ Saunders fight, the Kovalev fight, and now the Caleb Plant fight. So it wouldn't actually surprise me if Canelo says, man, just give him what he wants. Because Canelo knows that this is a guaranteed win for him. That's how he truly feels. And that's how the majority of us feel, right? Speaking of guaranteed wins, now this is something else that doesn't make sense with these Canelo Alvarez fans. When it comes to someone on a coincidental list like Andrade or Charlo, they'll sit over here when we're saying that we want to see the fight. They'll be like, why do you want to see that fight? You know Andrade has no chance. You know Charlo has no chance. Canelo would beat them easy, right? Basically saying there's no reason for the fight to happen because you already know how it's going to play out. But if that's the case, you knew Canelo was going to beat Yildirim. You knew he was going to beat Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Liam Smith, Rocky Fielding. So how come you didn't criticize those guys, those opponents, and Canelo for taking a fight that you fans deem as a foregone conclusion? But I digress. So while this is bad news for Canelo Alvarez, this is most likely going to be good news for at least the majority of boxing fans, because no one was ever clamoring for a Canelo Plant fight. In fact, I believe it was Ellie who did a poll where it had over, I think, 100,000 views, at least it does now. And he asked the fans, who do you want to see Canelo Alvarez fight? He named every possibility there was. And the fans, they picked Charlo. Overwhelmingly, they wanted to see Canelo versus Charlo. None of the fans picked Yildirim, Caleb Smith, Caleb Plant, and the list just goes on, right? So if this fight doesn't happen between Canelo and Plant, hopefully this does put more pressure on Canelo to actually get in there and fight someone that we want to see him fight. Whether it's David Benavidez, Charlo, Andre, or even Arthur Beterbiev. I mean, Arthur Beterbiev, he doesn't have a big name or anything, but I feel like when it comes to Canelo, you know, if you're going to be pound for pound the best fighter in the world against European fighters, you might as well go after some of the best European fighters out there and some of the most dangerous ones. And this will certainly be a dangerous one, considering the fact that this one right here is young, undefeated, and at 175. So once again, we'll see if this fight doesn't go down. Hopefully Canelo is in the ring with the four guys that I mentioned next. The good news is now there's more pressure being put on Canelo Alvarez. With him being a free agent, he's still working with DAZN. But remember, DAZN had told Canelo when he was still with them, they told him straight up, we're not going to pay you $35 million to fight guys that we or nobody wants to see you fight. You're going to have to fight a premier opponent. This is exactly what they told Canelo Alvarez. So now that Canelo is a free agent, DAZN is most likely still telling Canelo, look, if you want the big payday, you got to take on a tough opponent. So there's going to be a lot more pressure on Canelo to take some dangerous fights. I truly believe that. We'll see if Canelo Alvarez makes me a profit. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
Hello, my name is Dominic. I just got my procedure done here at South Carolina's. I was recommended by Dante's Boxing Nation, and it's real. Here's the results. The brother out here, Brother Enoch, is real, and it's a very, very, very good recommendation. I recommend it. 4 hours, you in, you out, and it's the rest of your life.
So if anyone in the world wants this hookup, make sure you contact my man Enoch at 704-499-3471 and make sure to follow him on Instagram. Check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.